This hunter faced a remarkable encounter with a nearly lifeless wolf trapped in ice. What unfolded next will astonish you. Nikolai Volkov had always been passionate about hunting, and his exceptional skill was evident from the numerous trophies adorning his home, showcasing his remarkable marksmanship. He had inherited this expertise from his father, who in turn had learned it from his own forebears. As time passed, Nikolai pursued higher education, venturing into the world of mechanics. However, shortly after completing his studies and securing a job, fate dealt him a cruel blow as he faced redundancy. Stricken with no source of income, desperation loomed over him. With a wife and a young son relying on him, he found himself unable to provide for his family, or so he thought. In his darkest hour, Nikolai recalled the hunting lessons imparted by his father throughout his upbringing. Faced with no other option, he turned to hunting for sustenance. Over the years, he honed his skills and eventually secured another job. However, during this time, his wife decided to leave, believing she could better care for herself and their son independently. Though heartbroken, Nikolai mourned the loss of his son, Leo, with whom he had forged a deep bond during his period of unemployment. Leo had even developed an interest in hunting, but his mother's decision was unswayable, and they relocated closer to the city in pursuit of better opportunities. The years passed, and Nikolai and his wife managed a schedule allowing him to spend quality time with Leo throughout the year. During each visit, they ventured into the forests, where Nikolai imparted the art of tracking and hunting to his son. One year, Nikolai ventured into the woods alone to explore what he could find. As he walked through his small village, he set off on a less trodden route, one he hadn't traversed in some time. The route led him across a small river on the outskirts of the village and onward into the forest. Undeterred, Nikolai embarked on this journey. Upon reaching the small river, he was relieved to find it frozen over due to the biting cold. However, as he cautiously stepped onto the ice, he noticed something peculiar on the far bank, a sizable hole in the ice. Intrigued, he approached the hole and was taken aback by what he saw, a wolf half submerged in the water. It was evident that the wolf had been trapped for a considerable duration, as a fresh layer of ice had started forming around the unfortunate creature. Initially, Nikolai couldn't discern whether the wolf was alive or lifeless, as its head rested on the ice with closed eyes. But as he drew nearer, the wolf slowly opened its eyes, meeting Nikolai's gaze. The animal appeared exhausted and nearly frozen, leaving Nikolai uncertain about the appropriate course of action. Initially, he considered leaving the wolf to the natural course of events, believing it unwise to interfere. However, just as he contemplated departing, the wolf emitted a feeble, plaintive whimper, as if beseeching Nikolai for assistance. Hearing this pitiful cry, Nikolai couldn't abandon the wolf to its fate. Driven by compassion and lacking a better option, he rushed forward, gripping the scruff of the wolf's neck, and lifted it out of the icy water. It was an arduous task, as the wolf's weight, coupled with the soaking wet fur, made it an immense challenge for Nikolai. Once the wolf was freed, Nikolai promptly released his grip on the animal and cautiously stepped back a few feet, leveling his gun in case the exhausted creature attempted to attack. However, the wolf was far too weak to move, let alone pose a threat to Nikolai. Now out of the water, Nikolai contemplated leaving the wolf to fend for itself, but witnessing the shivering, half-dead animal lying there, he realized that if he departed, it would surely not survive the night. Uncertain of what to do, Nikolai cautiously approached the canine, speaking soothingly to it throughout, explaining his desire to help. The wolf perked up, pricking its ears and attentively listening to Nikolai. Seeing that the animal posed no harm, Nikolai carefully lifted it into his arms and began the journey back to his home. Upon reaching his house, he kindled a roaring fire in the hearth and placed the wolf right in front of it. To help the animal warm up further, he even covered it with an extra blanket. After a few hours, the creature ceased shivering and showed signs of improvement. With the wolf regaining strength, Nikolai provided it with water and some leftover meat from his fridge. The wolf eagerly devoured the food and then settled back in front of the fire, falling into a restful sleep. The following day, Nikolai awoke to a scratching sound at his front door. Opening his bedroom door, he found the wolf alert and pacing by the entrance, fully rejuvenated and eager to return to the wild. Once more, Nikolai spoke calmly to the wolf, explaining his intentions. Approaching the door, he cautiously opened it, allowing the wolf to dart out into the snow. Before disappearing into the woods, the wolf turned back, seeming to convey gratitude with its gaze. Content that he would never encounter the wolf again, Nikolai resumed his daily routine. A few weeks later, a phone call brought the delightful news that Leo could come and visit his father for a week. Nikolai was overjoyed at the prospect of hunting in the winter alongside his son. With Leo's arrival, father and son wasted no time heading into the woods. Nikolai opted to follow the same route he had chosen last time, the one where he had discovered the trapped wolf. As they approached the frozen river, Leo became distracted by a set of animal tracks, drawing him away from his father. Suddenly, Nikolai heard a loud crack and a scream, prompting him to rush toward the source, calling for his son. As he neared the river, his heart froze with fear. Leo was precariously clinging to the edge of the icy water, and right beside him stood a wolf. Just as Nikolai raised his gun to protect his son, the wolf performed an extraordinary act. It clamped onto Leo's jacket with its teeth and began hauling him out of the water. With the wolf's assistance, Leo managed to pull himself back onto solid ice. The wolf swiftly retreated toward the woods but paused before disappearing. With the wolf gone, Nikolai rushed to his son, striving to warm him. As he looked up at the wolf that had saved his son, he recognized it as the same wolf he had rescued just weeks earlier from a similar predicament. The man expressed his gratitude to the wolf, which seemed to understand before vanishing into the woods once more. Rushing his son home to ensure he warmed up, Nikolai made a silent vow in his heart. He pledged never to hunt wolves again, for it was thanks to one such wolf that his son's life had been spared. Although he knew he would never encounter the same wolf again, he felt eternal gratitude for the extraordinary help it had provided on that fateful day.